Ladies and gentlemen, this RedGamingTech video. It is I, Paul, CrimsonRayne, or however you want to call me. So, thought I'd do a vlog since it's been far too long since I've done one. Ironically enough, I was actually just filming and then I just realised the memory card was full. I had absolutely no idea whereabouts it stopped recording. So, it's a do-over. So, thought I'd just check in with you all, see how you're all doing, give a little bit of information about me, tell you about the channel. Just kind of an update since Christmas, which was kind of did an informal-ish one back then, and I was actually using the green screen, which is behind me, back there. So, what has been going on with the channel? Quite a bit actually. Obviously, just did a review of the GTX 780 Ti about a weekish ago, and that served as like an earmark, or not earmark, but a test and an example of, like, to myself how to do graphics card reviews and hardware reviews, because that was like the first official GPU video that I've done in terms of like a review and figuring out my own methods and the best way to capture things and how I would want to do them and so on. And it was a bit of an interesting experience for me, so it was definitely an experience that I learned from, and it worked out quite well actually. I felt it went quite well, considering it was like the first one I've ever done. And so that will be a stepping stone to other GPU reviews and hardware reviews. Hang on one second. Down here is this lifting with one hand. Hopefully, I don't know if you can see inside that or not. It looks like you can inside the camera view, but hopefully. There is an Intel processor of some description. I think it's a Q8400. So it's like, you know, low to mid-range, a quad-core basically, a couple of the generations old. The purpose, I hear you cry, well, first of all, it's an old system, so it works out quite well. Second purpose is that it also mirrors a lot of low-end AMD systems, a lot of low-end Intel systems, particularly if we overclock this sucker, which it can overclock. It's got a reasonable cooler on it. The basic idea is that we also want to be covering graphics card reviews, not just for like super high-end systems, but also for like lower-end budget. For example, we just covered Thief on the channel. Well, I don't know which video is going to go up first, but regardless, at some point both videos will be up, and there will be Thief on the channel, which we just covered for the PC. And there's a lot of graphics comparisons that we're going to be doing regarding the PS4. We'll get to the Xbox One in a minute, but it's like, a lot of people just don't have the money for a GTX 780 Ti, and honestly, if I wasn't running the channel, I wouldn't have bought one. I'll just be straight up bluntly honest, I wouldn't. I'd have probably gone with like an R9 290 or something similar. Why? Because I would not have needed NVIDIA physics, I would not have needed the quietness. Okay, I could have gone with a third party, but still, and I just wouldn't have needed a few other bits and pieces, so I would have probably just gone with the cheaper card. But a lot of people don't even want to spend like 250 to 350 on a card. Instead, their budgets are more like the 150-ish range, which is one market we definitely want to start targeting. So there's that, which is going to be coming to the channel. I'm also being really behind on downsampling articles and a few other bits and pieces that I've been promising you guys. Why is that? Well, I also want to kind of touch on this as well. Suffice to say, it's not because I'm being lazy, it's just because I'm really busy. Amata and I are, I don't think she'd care if I use her real name, would she? Regardless, I'm sure she'll be fine with it. Well, we're yelling at profanities at each other in Shrine 2, which is another part we've just recorded, so I'm pretty sure everyone knows her name's Amy anyway. But Amy and I are really busy, and in real life, she's got, like, you know, her life and her place and all of that, so she has to take care of her own bits, and then obviously I've got my own place and everything else, and it's like there's a lot of difficulty because we're both working pretty much full time, and so my typical day is like, if I've got the gym, I know you'll see why I mention that in a minute, but if I've got the gym, it's basically I take my stuff with me to work for the gym. I go straight from work to the gym, I'll work out, come home, cook myself a meal for pretty much a after workout meal, eat, record, edit, then I'll have to basically cook more food for the next couple of days for like work and stuff like that. So it's like a lot of time gets wasted, not wasted, but a lot of time gets used up in that respect. Typically on a gym day I could be doing like 12 to 14 hours, so I don't really get that much time to myself, and so we have to be a little bit careful in that regard. So I've got a bit of an itch on my nose, which is extremely annoying. It's really weird. As soon as you get behind the camera, that's when every single thing starts to annoy you, irritate you, and itch, and it's like, ah! Yeah, you can tell I'm not particularly used to being behind that camera. Anyway, if it's not got the gym, it's a lot easier. I generally have about another 2 hours in addition to that, so it means that I've got a bit more time. But honestly, some of the graphics comparisons and reviews, they can take so long. It's actually ludicrous. You really don't. I really didn't think some stuff was going to take this long. Like the famous one is, it won't take that long, and you kid yourself. You're like, okay, well, 3 hours later, I don't actually know how the hell the editing time just went, but whatever. So anyway, what else? Discussed that on the channel. We are getting the green screen. I can't remember if I've discussed this or not. I don't think I have, because I've just recorded this already, as I said, but then the thing fell over. So green screen's going to be sorted out. Basically we need a couple of extra lights, and to do a lot of testing, and possibly to be altering some camera setups as well. So that will be implemented. It's just basically getting a Marta around for a decent length of time with all of the equipment we need to do all the tests, because I can't do it by myself, because I can't be at the camera, set everything up. It's just a pain. I'm basically backwards and forwards across the room, and it just doesn't really work well. Sorry, 1 second. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt. What else? Xbox One. Ah yes, well, Xbox One's just dropped in price, kind of unofficially at the moment. It's technically going to happen in, what, 3 days? I think it's 25th today? 25th? Yeah, 25th. So it's going to happen in like 3 days officially in the United Kingdom. Not sure what's going to happen yet. We've got another guy who's basically agreed to cover Titanfall for us. Unfortunately, he's had some personal issues. I'm not going to go into them in the video because it's unfair to him. But he's agreed to cover Titanfall for us and release. So hopefully that can still happen. He's had a bit of just unfortunate timing. But if he can cover some Titanfall footage for us and just, you know, show it off and blah, that would be pretty great. It's kind of weird because we're at this really strange position in terms of the year, in terms of releases, like big releases. There's just not that many. And basically tying up like £400+ on an Xbox One isn't really ideal for us right now, because we've got so much recording equipment to buy. The graphics card thing, as I've mentioned, especially because a lot of this stuff I'm also subsidising out of my own pocket as well. So, you know. What other bits? There's a few other things. So, what about general stuff? Well, things are going pretty well for me as a whole at the moment. Apart from being exceptionally busy, as most of you know, I'm pretty much a gym goer, and so I've been basically entering a new phase in terms of that. I'm basically cutting, which basically, for those of you who don't know, means that you bulk up over the winter months, and you get to like a season where you're like, okay, well, I'm happy. You have to be really careful because you don't want to overload your fat levels. You don't want to be burning like silly amounts of body fat, but right now I've got to be really careful, slightly cut my calories. My body's really weird when it comes to calories. Like, certain things just, they don't work with me at all. Wheats, which means breads, pastas and stuff, it just doesn't go well for me. I put on a lot of water weight really fast, and so that's bad. So I have to stay away from those. So I'm basically slowly cutting on calories and doing a lot of cardio. Doing a lot of strength training, but also trying to basically sort out my body in terms of both sides. 1 second, the monitor just went off, which means, oh, the screen's gone all weird. There we go. So there's been a lot of basically just trying to sort out my two sides so that they're about the same in terms of size. So I don't have like a weak side. For example, my left leg, strange enough, considering I'm generally right-handed, My left leg was actually a little bit stronger than my right, and my right arm was a little bit bigger than my left, so I don't know what the hell was going on there. But I'm partially ambidextrous, not completely ambidextrous, but I can do most things two-handed anyway. So there's that. What else? A few people have randomly messaged questions at me. I can't really think of super specifics because I was like really prepared when I did this video, and I got all of the questions not even slightly loaded up. But generally about me, I've been gaming for quite a while now actually. I started way back when I actually had a used, I believe it was, Spectrum 100, no, I think it was brand new, but it was literally like kind of phasing out in terms of the lifespan. I had a Spectrum 128K Master System, and I bought like, well, rather my parents bought several other consoles for me. Mega Drive, what you guys in the States would call it Genesis, along with the CD. Tons of other bits and pieces, and just kind of went from there. So that's really how I got involved in technology. So it's kind of cool in that respect. I've got a lot of like old school things. Back in the days of like when I was younger, like 14, 15, I used to play a lot of competitive fighting games, specifically like Tekken. But I just haven't really gotten into the fighting game scene right now. And I've had some people ask me, you know, are you going to do like a multiplayer thing, maybe set up like an RGT game, and maybe all of us play together like Battlefield. To be honest with you, I used to be hugely into Counter-Strike, especially when I was younger, when like CS 1.6 and 0 was just like the biggest thing. But I didn't really get into Source that much, and I just haven't really played that much since. I was really good at one point. Like, I wasn't pro level or anything like that, but I was pretty damn good. I would pretty much be murdering on public. I could hold my own on clan servers. I had a friend that was really good, by the way, and I used to play with his clan quite a bit. I never bothered to take it seriously or professionally, though. I just didn't bother. And just after that, after I kind of got out of the first-person shooter for a while, God, I suck now. Keyboard and mouse are definitely better, so I don't really play like the whole console thing competitively. I was considering doing like Killzone with fans on. It's still weird for me to call people fans. It really is. I don't really know how I feel about that. It's strange. Ah well. I don't really think about stuff like that, to be honest with you. It's kind of weird because I get messages from people like, oh, hi, Paul, you know, X, Y, and Z, and it's really strange because I love messages from people, but at the same time, it does somewhat weird me out. I don't know. I think both Amy and I, when we first started RGT, we just started it because we like games, and I specifically have so much of like I just like to talk, and I just figured, well, why the hell not bore someone else with it, right? You know, bore as large an audience as possible. And so we just started it. And it just turned out that, you know, some people seem to like us. Hopefully we're growing. We seem to be growing quite fast now, which works out really well because the bigger we are, the more influence we can have in like game studios and publishers, which means that I can actually ask them better questions, which helps a lot. Like, for example, RedGamingTech, when they responded in regards to the questions that I posed them on Xbox One's GPU, because another website, Gaming Bolt, actually posted like some specs, and I could just tell that they read them wrong, because they were just basically misreading the website. To be fair, RedGamingTech did kind of put the the times a little bit wrong, but I was like, you know, you can just do the maths, and that's all I did. I just basically did the maths in my head, and I was like, you know, they've got the Xbox One's performance a bit too low here, so I reread this site like 2 or 3 times, and it made sense, and I confirmed it with the guys, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's how it works, and then kind of went from there. I also need to contact AMD again. I've just managed to conducted another interview, sent a bunch of questions over to a couple of indies. Hopefully they're going to respond. It was a bit bad actually. I was supposed to do an interview with those guys for a while. Unfortunately, I just kept forgetting, really. Not even forgetting, I was just so busy that by the time I'd finished, it was then like so late. I was like, well, okay, I can't really do good set of questions now, which is not very good of me, to be honest. It's pretty shitty, but there you have it. There is some other stuff as well that I'll probably speak about, but I think I've bored you all enough for this particular video. I will tell you a little bit about what's going to be coming up over the weekend and my plans, and specifically with the channel. Sorry guys, I'm really thirsty. I've been speaking like about an hour or something on FIFA, which always gets me, when you're doing like reviews. What else was I going to say? Oh yes, regarding this week. So, FIFA's just out. I've recorded the super duper high resolution quality first section of the game. Probably gonna upload that with this video. Maybe do a new video as well. And that's probably going to be it for today. Tomorrow is going to be more FIFA, maybe a later section of the game. Also got a few Let's Plays going right now. Dead Space, I'll be honest with you, what basically happened, as you might have noticed, I've not done a Dead Space part in a couple of days. Yeah, what happened is basically that I got to a section that I played through like twice. And the first time I was just a twit and forgot to save the audio or something, I don't remember. Second time I recorded it all, uploaded it, and it all worked great. Unfortunately, literally the second after I stopped recording the first part, I was about to record another part, the game crashed on me. And I swore profusely, and basically since then I hadn't actually managed to get to a save point, so that means I have to redo that section a third time. So I'm pretty much just giving myself a few days. I have got Metro already recorded, there's a Crisis part that's ready to go, so I'm probably going to get that over and done with the next few days. I'll be honest, I'm enjoying Crisis 1, but it feels really clumsy compared to Crisis 2 and Crisis 3, because I've been playing Crisis 3, I actually played Crisis 1, and I was doing like the GTX 780 Ti, and I was like, okay, I have to play Crisis 3, and I downloaded the bloody thing, installed it, I was like, yep. Shouldn't have been playing this with Crisis 1, because now I really, really miss the suit controls. Yeah, that's a big problem. The controls, I don't know if there's a user mod for that. I'm going to have to look. Maybe there's a user mod. Because pressing the mouse wheel down and moving, it doesn't really make for smooth gameplay. It's not that the gameplay sucks, it just, they really improved it. For the later ones, like how the suit integration works. So it will be finished. And as I was saying in my FIFA video, and this is possibly going to shock and appall many of you, but I've never ever completed any Assassin's Creeds. I've played them, like I've been playing them for like graphics comparisons, that type of thing, but I've never actually completed one. I don't know why, I just haven't. Actually, that's not quite true. I did play AC2, but if I remember correctly, I was sick at the time. I was not well. I can't remember what was wrong with me. Maybe a flu or something. Generally, I don't get ill. But if I do get ill, it's either a very mild cold, where I'm barely sick, or I'm completely ravaged to shit. There's no halfway house with me. I'm either completely fine, slightly ill, or ravaged to absolute shit, and I'm in bed for like 2 weeks. I don't know why that is. It's just one of those things. Anyway, so when I was playing it, I remember being pretty sick, and I was playing AC2, and Jesus, the free running was really annoying the hell out of me. But I think I've heard that once you get used to it, it's cool. So I'm gonna give it another shot. Maybe I'll turn it into a Let's Play. I don't know. I haven't really decided. And that's pretty much all I've got to say on this particular video. Hopefully it's cleared up some stuff. It's not been a really informative video, has it? But I'm not really good at this whole vlog thing, which is one of the reasons I tend not to do them. It's not because I shy away from the public eye. I mean, half the time, to be honest with you, I even forget to change my personal profile on RGT Facebook and end up replying my own profile, which I don't know why I do that. It's just, I think it's just laziness. I'm sure it's fine. I can't bother to switch at this point. I've committed. It's okay. Copy and paste takes a long time. So yeah, it's not like I shy away from it, it's just that it feels really weird for me just to be kind of twiddling my thumbs in front of a camera, despite the fact that I know that, you know, some of you might like it. I have no idea if any of you like it. Hopefully a few of you do. And that's about it. There's probably some other stuff as well that I've got to discuss that I'm probably going to remember that. Oh god, how could I forget that? But I think for now that's going to do. So, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I shall bid you farewell, my friends. Take care. Bye for now.